Yo, what's going on, guys? Frankietrades here, bringing you another new weekly stock watch list, another one for the table. But before we get started, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. I'd really appreciate it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive deep into the video. So, as far as this week's goes with earnings, you guys know that I like going over these, and now that I see Levi, Micron, FedEx, these are usually the start of the quarter. So what that means is I know that Tesla, Netflix, all of our usual tech stocks are right around the corner when it comes to reporting. For this week, though, there really isn't too much going on. You got FedEx, that might be one to look at. That usually has a good move off of earnings. MU is going to be a good one to look at. Reason for that is because it's the first one in the chip sector of the new quarter to see how the overall chip market is doing. Not saying that MU is going to be the leader to give us an idea of where everything's headed, but it gives us a good indication of where things could head. So that's going to be a big one to look out for. And then lastly, probably Nike. I don't really trade it, but something else to be on the lookout for this week. So pinstripes, maybe a lot of unusual stocks. So, but MU probably being the biggest one of this whole group for this current week. So yeah, not too much going on for earnings this week, guys. And then your guys' favorite part, of course, is the earnings watch list. Or not the earnings watch list, just the usual watch list. So let's go ahead and dive deep into the watch list. So as far as ES goes, ES and NQ kind of have this similar trade idea to each one. With ES specifically, I am looking at the 55.25 area. Reason why I'm not looking at the highs or anything above here is because we're centered more towards the downside than we are to the upside. And most of our plays are centered around the downside. So as far as ES goes, I am looking at the 55.25 level. As you can see here on the 1 hour, we are actually struggling to close below that. And if I put this on 30 minutes as well, the indicator that we use for the stock hours chat, you can see that we actually have a level here at 55.25 that the algo is currently looking at. So after 55.25, I'm looking at 55.20, as that's the other area where ES got bought from. After 55.20, I have room down all the way to 5,500 on there. So pretty much it for ES, and like I said, NQ has the same exact idea along with it. If you put this in the 30-minute or the 1 hour, same thing. You can see that we are struggling to close below 19,950. But as far as the downside goes, that is what I am more focused on. 19,950. After 19,950, I am looking at 19,900 and see if we get any more downside after that. So no trend lines that I see that can get in the way, that have rejected multiple times. Nothing that I see as far as trend lines go that we have to worry about. So that is what I got for ES and NQ. Like I said, more focus on the downside. But if you're part of the stock hours chat, then you'll see that we go on the pre-market review every day, 30 minutes before market open, and we talk about futures and what stocks we're looking at for the morning. So for the meantime, though, for the week outlook, or I guess even going into tomorrow, I am more focused on the downside since that's what we are closer to. So, and then your guys' favorite part is the actual watch list here. So first things first is AVGO. AVGO is probably the best setup that we currently have right now, at least the one that I like the most. You can see that we are coming down. It had a blow off top recently, and I'm going to be looking for a continuation downwards. The only problem is this is pretty close to the gap in the double bottom that we currently have at 1950 or at 1652, my bad, and then room with all the way down to 1499 on the gap itself. So pretty big gap fill. If this breaks, it is what it is. But for the meantime, I'm looking at 1652 as the entry, room down to 1650. After that, this is all uncharted area because these are all all-time highs. Or I guess, yeah, these are all-time high levels that we haven't really touched or messed with, so we don't know where AVGO is going to have some conflict as far as buyers or sellers go. So that is what I'm going to be looking at for AVGO. Next up is Google. Google is another big one that I'm really liking here. If I put this on the 4 hour, you can see we are currently in a ascending wedge, or even in a wedge on its own. But as far as this goes, it's a little tricky just because we have the 4 hour trend line from the top side and the one from the bottom side. If we come down to the bottom side, I'd be looking at this at 174. We're pretty far away from that, but as far as Google goes for the main picture, I'm looking at 182 for an all-time high break at that level. Someone would argue maybe 181, but the problem with 181 is we have the trend line here that you see on the 4 hour that gives us room up to maybe 181, 10 cents at most. Going into Monday tomorrow, it's going to give us a little bit more room, but I would like to see some kind of confirmation above 181 going into 182 and see if this is really strong against the market now that the market has pulled back. So that's my idea for Google. Next up is Microsoft. Microsoft, same idea as Google as far as all-time highs goes. You can see that we are currently consolidating at the 451 level. After 451, it's really hard to judge any kind of price target on this. I was telling the chat yesterday with our charting session that when it comes to all-time high breaks, you can't really chart for anything above that. You can base it off of previous price action and see how those all-time high breaks have broken out before in the past, but you can really only do so much with price action. Price action is going to be king when it comes to reading all-time highs and how much room it has, even in general. So that's why it's my favorite strategy, and that's why I like scalping. It's just the most raw movement of any indicator, quote-unquote, that you can get. So as far as Microsoft goes, I'm looking at the 451 level where it's been consolidating around, and then after that, looking to play the breakout on that. So next up and last on the main watch list is Netflix. You can see Netflix on the 3 or 1 week. You can see that the all-time high is at 700, and we're currently sitting at 690. Netflix has had a pretty good run here recently. So as far as Netflix goes, I'm looking at the pretty simple picture here, nothing too crazy. Netflix, I'm looking at the 690 level. After that, I room up to 700 because most of this area is pretty not congested. So I expect us, after we break 690, to have another room up or another leg up after this. So Netflix is going to be one of the big ones to watch as well. The only problem with this is you need to watch out for the spreads on the contracts. So that's your only red flag on this stock, but that is my other main watch list for the week. And then the side watch list, your guys' is kind of mediocre setups, the ones that I don't really care about. But first up is ARM. ARM, pretty simple, just looking at the double bottom at this 150.65 area. Entry, I'd probably be looking at the 150.30 cent area just to play it a little safe, even though ARM does have a lot of moves where it happens to break out or break down really easily. It's just one I want to be careful of with ARM. So pretty simple setup there, pretty far away, so you can see why it's part of the side watch list. Coin, another reason, it's because it's coin. Coin's a tricky stock to trade, shitty most times if I'm being honest. But with coin, I'm looking at the 220 level. After 220, I room down to 218, and that's based off the 1 hour, I believe. Yeah, since that is the last time during market hours that we actually got down to, like the lowest low that we could get to. 217.70 if you want to be exact, but it was roughly around that 218 area. So that is what I have room for on this side watch list because it's coin, and coin is it's a pretty bad stock to trade and a pretty tricky one if you're not careful with what levels you play on that. So next up is CRM. Signaled this to the stock hours chat on Friday, and this ended up being around 30 to 40%. And then at the high, I believe it was 100% plus on this one. So only ended up catching the 244 consolidation break and I think the 244.20 or 30 cents for a 30% play, which is all I need on this kind of play on Friday, honestly. Did I miss out? Definitely, but it is what it is, and we ended up catching still a good portion of it. So as far as CRM goes, if I put this on the daily, you guys can see that we should have a gap here as well. Reason why it's part of the side watch list is because I'm still not too familiar with the stock, so I'm still sizing pretty low on this. But the nice thing about this is we have a $20 move gap on this waiting for us. So waiting at 247, which is the last high it made. So with room up to 267 with the gap. So after 247 though, realistically I have room up to 250 though. So just a solid key level to be on the lookout for. After CRM, I have Meta. Meta has been on the weak side for this week. So as far as Meta goes, you can see if I put this on the 30-minute or even on the 1 hour, you can see at the low that last time we made in this range was 490. So I'm looking at the 490 break, nothing too crazy or special there. Meta is really a good stock to trade when it has a lot of weak divergence or strong divergence compared to the market. And with where the market's heading, I'm going to be more focused on this toward the downside, which would be that 490 area on that. So we also have a small gap too from 484 to 479 on the daily as well. So and then last but not least is TSM. I know it's crazy not to have Tesla or Nvidia on here. Tesla can go screw itself if I'm being honest. Anybody can say anything about that stock. I am fed up with that stock for the meantime. And then as far as Nvidia goes, I just don't have anything on it, and it's a weird area. There's no consolidations or good local lows, even local highs, anything to really play on Nvidia at the moment. That could change throughout the week, but all the stock hours members know that changes throughout the week. Maybe something develops on it, maybe chip stocks make a comeback for some reason, or something happens, never know. But stock hours would be the first ones to get it. So as far as TSM goes, I am looking at the downside here. A little bit far away. That's why it's part of the side watch list. But I am looking at the low at 170.36 that it made back on June 14th. After that, we have roughly around a $2 gap to the downside, which is more than enough for a stock like TSM. You can see we had a blow off top on this as well. So a lot of blow off tops on a lot of these stocks from all-time highs is pretty much what we're targeting for this week. But yeah, looking at 170.36, look into 170 for TSM. So yeah, guys, that is all for the weekly stock watch list, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it and enjoy more future content that I do for you guys. If I happen to miss out on any stocks, let me know. Comment in the comments below and see what kind of stocks I can add to my watch list. It's a era right now where more open to adding anything on the watch list, just because most of the stocks where you're trading are splitting. So yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Before you leave, though, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would really appreciate it. And without much more being said, I hope you guys have a safe week trading, and yeah, have a good time. So peace out.